What's up? This is Joe from the Buckeye Cast, bringing you post-game press conference and player interviews. Started off with the usual Coach Day, then Emeka Egbuka, then Mike Hall, then we got a couple paired together, Ronnie Hickman and CJ Stroud together, and then Tommy Eichenberg and Marvin Harrison Jr. together. Here is Coach Day.
Ryan, Bill asked you during the week just how many plays you have that are just Jackson plays, and you said a lot. And it seemed like you were getting really creative there in that second quarter with some of the play calls. How quickly have you gotten comfortable being able to be creative when you haven't had Jackson in the lineup?
Well, it all starts with the running game. And, you know, when you're running the ball well, then it certainly opens up a lot of different things. And I give our offensive staff a lot of credit, and it's starts off with Kevin Wilson. You know, Kevin Wilson is one of the best offensive minds in college football, and continues to come up with great game plans in that meeting room with Brian Hartline and Tony Alford. You know, you think about some of the guys we have in that room, you know, Justin Fry. I mean, you know, we got some really bright minds in there, so you go in there and you just come up with different ideas, and the best idea wins. But it all starts with the physicality up front and running the football effectively, and that opens up everything else.
Over to the left, Austin Ward, Rivals 97.1.
Ryan, you mentioned throughout the week how much respect you have for Michigan State's program, and then the, I guess, quote-unquote, new challenge of going on the road, at least for this season, to handle your business as relatively quickly as you all did in the first half. What does it mean? What does it say to you about this team?
Well, it didn't exactly start the way we wanted it on offense, you know, and nobody panicked at all. I thought the way the defense played, you know, Lathan got the early interception, and just across the board, you know, we gave up a couple things on the outside and a couple penalties, but after that, and you look at it, you know, they did a great job of you know, stopping the run. I thought defensive line was strong. Tommy and the linebackers were excellent. You know, just across the board, our guys you know, just played strong. And that, when you have you know, that type of back and forth and that balance on offense and defense, and they play against each other, you can see what we did there in the first half. And I thought, you know, for the first half of that third quarter as well, and even maybe into the end of that third quarter, I just think overall we played good football on the road. Certainly not perfect, and then it got a little sloppy in the fourth quarter. But you know, we just wanted to get some guys out of the game and make sure that we got to the bye week as healthy as we could. Looking forward to getting to the bye week. Looking forward to getting guys healthy and reflecting on the things that we did well in the first 6 games, but also projecting where we need to be and where we need to go. So great to get this win on the road and get into the bye week.
Over to the right, Cameron T. Robinson, The Athletic.
Ryan, obviously, just kind of thoughts on Trayvion's day, getting back into the lineup, and then he looked like he got banged up in that third quarter.
Yeah, you know, we if it was a different game, he probably would have come back in. Just out of abundance of caution, we just decided to hold him out. We didn't feel like we needed to use him at that point. But I thought he ran well. You know, 19 carries, 119 yards. I thought he ran hard. You know, I thought, again, the offensive line played strong. Tight ends, again, you know, times unsung heroes. I mean, these guys are working really hard on the edge, and Cade is just a really good football player. But Trey ran hard today. It was good to see him back after last week.
Over to the left, Bill Landis, Rivals.
Ryan, you guys are, I don't know if you can be more efficient maybe than you've been with the first-team offense in there the last few weeks, but you're doing this without a full deck. You've had Trey out a little bit. You had Mine out today. You've not had Jackson really. Have you thought to yourself over the last 4 weeks, like, man, this looks really good, but I wonder what this could be when we actually have all of our pieces and we're kind of at 100%?
Yeah, sometimes, but also I feel like, you know, it's rare in today's day and age where you do have a full deck, you know, just the way the game's played. You know, it's typically you have to play depth, and we know that. And, you know, like when we talk about it in the preseason, like, who's your tailback going to be? And we always say, you're going to need 2. I don't know how it's going to shake up, but we're going to need 2. How about a receiver? We're going to need 5. We just know we're going to need this many guys because things happen. But it is exciting to know that, you know, if we can get everybody back in there, then, you know, at full strength, then, you know, certainly we can put a lot of stress on defenses.
Over here to the right, Clay Hall, WSYX.
Was Mayan getting kind of a maintenance day, and your new running back, Xavier Johnson?
I thought, I mean, yeah, you know, we tried to be a little creative going into this game with some of the things that we did, and held some things, but you know, tried to do a couple different. And I thought Xavier ran the ball hard. I mean, he did a nice job on some of those runs. He's a weapon for us. You know, you saw it in the Notre Dame game. You could see it today. He's a good player. But across the board, I thought that unit played well today. You know, obviously Marvin made some amazing catches, but Emeka plays tough. You know, he catches the ball, he and Julian over the middle, and takes some of those shots, but keeps going. Warriors. And I'm proud of the way those guys played.
Over to the middle, Tim May, Letterman Row.
Yeah, it's close enough. Hey, Ryan, you had a great view of the dime that CJ dropped in on Marvin Harrison Jr. there on the sideline and stuff. And just, I know we're always asking you about CJ and his play, but, I mean, today he was, with the exception of one pass, and by the way, whose fault was that? But then number two, he seemed to be quite on.
Well, it was a little bit of a miscommunication there. I could have done a better job helping the two of them, but I thought the best thing was it was like nothing ever happened. We just kept rolling, and that shows confidence and proud of those guys the way that they played. But yeah, that was a tremendous catch by Marvin. I mean, I was amazed. It was like he jumped up and caught it by his ankles. I mean, it was just an acrobatic catch by just a tremendously talented player. So it was fun to watch him out there. And then, I mean, what can you say about somebody who's throwing the ball like that in 20-mile-an-hour wind? At least it seemed like it was. I mean, it was blowing it a couple times, and for him to throw it that accurately, that was really well done on the road. It just was clicking. You could see the timing. He was able to step in the pocket. A big part of that is the protection. Our offensive line did a good job giving him a good pocket. And when you do that, he can do some damage. And I thought he embraced the game plan, worked it, had a good thought process the whole game, had a good look in his eye. To throw, was he 21 to 26? That was a 361 and 6 touchdowns. That's one heck of a day on the road. So, especially, at a program as proud as Michigan State and coming in here as our first road game, big day for CJ.
Phil Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Your defense is obviously playing very well. The one issue you guys have is the quarterback play. How concerned are you? You pulled Cam out of the game at one point. You were talking to him. Could you share what you shared with him, and how big a concern is that for you?
Well, again, I keep looking at it, and we're there. We just don't seem to be making the plays. So we got to figure that part of it out. I think if it's something where, guys just are just creating separation, we can't cover anybody, that's one issue. This issue seems to be that we're there, we're just not quite making the play. So we got to address it. I know we can do that. I know we can. We have the right guys over there, and they're pressing a little bit, but that's okay, and they're doing some really good things. So just, he's very competitive, and he wants to be great and be the best corner in the country. And so, he's a little frustrated. Just got to calm down and play with emotion. Don't let emotion play with you and get yourself back on track. But overall, I think our defense is playing very, very well. Like you said, I think Tommy's playing at a high level. The D-line's playing. The safety play has been excellent. I think Ronnie Hickman has been a really good leader for us. Tommy's shown good leadership. And I think when you talk about winning on the road, leadership has to show up. Veteran guys have to play veteran. And it looked like, I have to watch the film, but it looked like that happened today.
Over to the middle, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
You're winning by 4+ touchdowns. It feels like rinse and repeat. And from this side, it's almost like nitpicking to pick apart. Is that fair to nitpick this team, to look at the cornerbacks? And do you nitpick behind the scenes, say, going forward?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good thing. We get a little defensive because, it seems nitpicky at times, but you know what? We want to be the best in the country. That's our goal. And we want to challenge to be the best in the country. So, yeah, we have to figure out how we can get better in different areas. And we're not just going to sit here and say, oh, it was a great game, we're good. No, we're not. No, we have to keep building and keep growing. And that's the point that we have to make sure that we address here during the bye week. Okay, here's what we did. These are the past 6 games. They don't mean a thing moving forward. I think you can see what we're capable of, and that's exciting. But any given Saturday, anything can happen. And I'm not sure what happened today in college football, but I'm sure there were some crazy things. I don't know. But, these guys are still 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old players. And the competitive stamina is the angle that we've been taking, just to bring it every single week. And I think you're seeing some of that.
Folks, we'll have a few more questions for Coach David. In the meantime, I do have wide receiver Emeka Egbuka on the wall there. If a few of you want to have a group huddle with him right there. But we'll continue with Coach Dave over here to the left.
I'd have a few questions for Emeka if I was a reporter.
We've got Tony Girdman, Buckeye Huddle, and I'm going to bring Tommy Eichenberg up here to sit at the far left. Let's do a couple questions, a couple more for Coach Dave, and then we'll open it up for Tommy.
Ryan, are you still able to be surprised by some of the catches Marvin makes, and what did you think of that last touchdown catch?
Yeah, I was surprised. I think maybe if they saw my face on camera, I was like, "What was that?" That was a tremendous catch. We do see things in practice, but that was special.
Over here in the middle, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Yeah, Ryan, just to follow up on Travion, it seemed like he was running with a little bit of an extra edge there in that first half. Did you see some extra fire from him this week after not being able to play last week?
Yeah, I don't know if that's what it was, but I saw it too. I thought he was running hard. He was running physical. He was finishing runs. Yeah, you could see that. He had a bounce in his step, and he was running determined. Yep.
Over here to the right, Doug Lamarice, Cleveland.com.
Ryan, you got a lot of guys who make spectacular catches, but this isn't just today. It just doesn't seem like your receivers drop many balls, and I know it's knock on wood if you want, but I don't know. Is that true? How important is that it seems like also you guys make the routine catches almost all the time?
I think you get into a rhythm of the game, and then like for instance, we had the early turnover, and nobody batted an eye. I think if something like that were to happen in a game, we just keep rolling. I just think that's the way we practice, and we have a certain level of expectation of efficiency. And if it doesn't happen, we're surprised. But when it does, we don't fret over it. We just kind of move on and go from there. But I think the confidence is the most important thing in the pass game.
Okay, we're going to go one more for Coach Day over here. Nathan Barrett, Cleveland.com. Justin, do you need one for Coach? Okay.
Ryan, you used that term like stressing defenses. When it came to Marvin as a prospect and then now, I guess, how did you see yourself someday being able to stress defenses with him, and then how is he surpassing that, or is he doing it in different ways than you expected?
Well, I don't want to embarrass him because he's sitting right here, but I'm going to anyways. Maybe he won't like this, but it's a is it Friday or Thursday? I'm just walking through the facility, and he's out there on the jugs with Reach Stockdale going through, I think, the script of practice and the game plan in the facility by himself, just going through it over and over and over again. I think you ask anybody on our team, they say, there's Marvin again working by himself. So this isn't something, he's been blessed with a lot of gifts and talent, but he has unbelievable discipline and skill. And when you take a tremendous amount of talent and mix it with discipline and skill, that's what you're seeing right there. And did we see all of that in recruiting? We saw some of it, but the rest of it, is a credit to him as a person and his work ethic.
Coach, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
We're going to open up Justin Holbrook and then Andy Arthurs.
7 yards rushing for Michigan State. What goes into that? It's a mentality. It's a mindset for that defense to not give up more than 10 yards rushing. What is it? What is the formula for you guys, and why have you been continually successful through these first 6 weeks?
I think just a hard week of practice, emphasizing, we got to stop the run is a big thing for our defense. So, when we bring that attitude, it helps.
And for Marvin, just where does that work ethic come from? Obviously, you're talented. We've seen the games, 3 touchdowns now in 3 different games. You're the first one to ever do that here. Why put in the extra work knowing what you're already capable of?
I'll just say, just wanted to be great, wanted to be a great football player, wanted to help my team win. So I'll just try to put as much work as I can to help us win.
Where are we? Over here, Austin Ward, Rivals 97.1.
Marvin, how the hell did you catch that last touchdown?
Just talking to Coach Hart, we talk a lot about going up and get the ball, being aggressive to the catch point, using my size and strong hands. So just practice.
Where are we over here? Cameron T. Robinson, The Athletic.
Marvin, kind of off that, right here, yep. At what point do you remember those type of catches feeling routine for you, or do they feel routine?
No, I definitely surprise myself sometimes, but you also have to have the confidence in yourself that you can make any play out there. So I just try to make everything feel routine. That's why I put all the work in, so nothing surprises me.
You're in the middle, Andy Andrews, or something like that.
Andrews, close enough. This question's for Tommy about Mike Hall. I'm not sure if you ran any of these types of stunts tonight, but a few times this season, something that's kind of freed you up as a rusher on blitz is kind of looping over Mike as he slants down. What about him and his skill set as a pass rusher kind of frees you up on those blitzes to make sacks and pressure the quarterback?
Yeah, he's really disruptive as a pass rusher, but also great in the run game too. But I think O-line focuses on him, and it kind of frees up other people too. So,
awesome. Thank you.
Where's the microphone? Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row. Hey, before we ask, I'm going to bring Michael Hall over here, and if we can just maybe carve out a little spot right here if anybody wants to gather around Michael.
Michael.
And then we'll continue with Marvin and Tommy here. Go ahead, Spencer. And then
Marvin.
You got a microphone. Okay.
Marvin, it seems like you and Emeka just kind of trade punches and who can make a better catch and who can make the defense look sillier. How much fun is it to be out there with Emeka? And then when you think about getting Jackson back here soon, the thought of all three of you on the field together with Julian as the complement.
It's scary to me, so I can only imagine what it is to the rest of the country. But we just like to go out there, have fun. We put a lot of work in during the week to be able to succeed come Saturday. So that's really all it is. Seeing the hard work pay off, we get to have fun on Saturdays. That's really what it is.
Hey, Marvin, you've been scoring touchdowns, especially at an alarming rate. When we talk about a red zone threat, people say they look for them in the red zone. What makes a touchdown score or a red zone threat? Why do you excel once they get inside the 20?
We just have a lot of focus on that because just one of Coach Day's things that he tried to emphasize this to us. We got to score touchdowns in the red zone. We can't have field goals. We got to score touchdowns. So he's trying to develop that confidence that he has in me to come to me in the red zone and make the plays. We definitely need 7 points instead of 3. That could be a big change in the game. So we just trying to emphasize that, and got to have I try to work on it throughout the week. So that's really what it is.
All right. Anyone have another question for Tommy Eichenberg?
I had one for both of them.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, for Tommy, real quick before you go, you guys get this off week. What have y'all accomplished defensively in your mind the first half of this season, and where do y'all still have room to grow? I know it's a general question, but I don't think y'all feel like you've played your perfect game yet, right?
No, we haven't played our best game yet. So week in, week out, we're just gonna keep trying to get better. Use this bye week to get better. So.
Thank you, man.
Great, Tommy. Thank you very much.
Marvin, you said you got to high point the ball, but that last one you kind of back pointed it.
Yep.
How many of these catches have you actually somehow or another done before, or like the dime that CJ dropped on you on the right sideline there and stuff? But how many of those have you actually done before, or just naturally it just happens?
I'm pretty sure a lot throughout my whole life. Just playing football for a while. You try to make those routine plays every day, so probably a lot. Just trying to make a play.
Which one was your favorite today?
They were all pretty good, man. Yeah, that's all.
What's it like to be in the record book though? Three games of 3 or more touchdown catches. You're the only guy that's ever done that here. What does that mean to you?
It's honestly such a blessing. You think about all the great receivers that have come through Ohio State. To be the first person to do that, I can't even really describe what that means to me. So I'm just gonna keep working though. Hopefully no more touchdowns come.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and let Marvin go. Marvin, thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
Great game, and we're gonna open up the floor for questions for Ronnie Hickman. Go ahead, Tim, or go ahead, Nathan.
Go ahead, Nathan.
I guess this team, this offense is, I think, leading the nation in first half scoring. Just how is that helping the defense maybe get its feet under it and grow over the first half of this season?
It's a tremendous benefit just to know that your offense is capable of scoring anywhere on the field. And actually seeing them do that week in and week out is huge. So it's just a benefit for the defense.
Jerry, can we go ahead and ask one?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, Ronnie, just kind of follow up on what I asked Tommy there. You might have a few more words about it, but what have you guys got accomplished defensively this first half of this season? Just generally, and where can y'all go the next 2 weeks?
The sky's the limit. We're not even fully healthy, so I think we just got to use this bye week to get fully healthy defensively and offensively. But defensive specifically, we know what we can do. We've showed some of the flashes of what we can do, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be put in.
Austin Ward, Rivals 97.1.
Ronnie, what did it mean to you all in the secondary to have Lathan back?
Huge. You see what he did first drive of the game. That was huge for us. They were kind of moving the ball better than we expected, but for him to do that is huge.
Lathan gets the interception. Then there's the pick six. You guys didn't seem the least bit fazed by that. Can you just kind of describe the mindset of this team when adversity does hit, which doesn't happen too often?
It's a part of the game. Stuff happens all the time. Everyone doesn't play perfect, but you got to be ready to go when your number's called. So we take pride in sudden change and not giving up a touchdown because it's pretty easy for offenses. Once they turn the ball over, and then they get the ball out, and then it kind of can get bad out. But we take pride in going out there and stopping them.
Ronnie, I want to ask you about the speed with which the defense is playing. Do you feel like today was the fastest that you guys have played? And if it wasn't, where could you be faster?
I would say just the little things. But like I said earlier, Coach knows wants us to have a fast defense. He wants us to play with vision on the quarterback. And I just think each week we're taking strides to becoming better at that specifically.
CJ, I won't start you out with a question about the interception, but for 6 touchdowns to 4 different guys and to get everybody involved like that. But Marvin in particular, when you throw that ball on the last touchdown of Marvin, what's going through your head, or do you just know that he's going to go up and get it? And to watch the play that he made there, just how impressed were you with the way Marvin controlled his body like that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, first and foremost, I want to give all glory and praise to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I have the opportunity to come all the way up here and compete with my brothers. But, yeah, when you see Marvin and the work he puts in during the week, I think definitely that's what builds confidence. And then staying after practice, the summer workouts, the summer routes that we've thrown, and just give them a chance. I mean, they're so dynamic out there, and they always have a 50-50 chance, which I think is more like 70-30. So just because he's so big, strong, and I definitely think it's the work ethic that he has.
CJ, when he actually makes that catch, Marvin, on the last one, like, what was your vantage point of it? Were you even impressed with this one compared to some others? Like, what did you see as you put that one away for the final touchdown?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of knew that it was a kind of a cloud look. They wanted to not leave him on an ISO, but the corner kind of played man principle. So Marvin did a good job by just staying wide. I tried to just put it wide as possible as I could. I could probably put it a little higher. But with those type of guys, all you got to do is give them a chance. So that's what I tried to do in that instance, and it was a hell of a catch. So I'm super happy for him.
After the pick six, you didn't look phased at all, just went back out there and ran the show. First of all, what happened on that play, and what's the mindset after something like that?
I mean, this next play, there's no positive in thinking about negative things that happened to you in the past, and I definitely think that that has to do with some of my off-the-field character, just being prayed up and making sure that that I know that I mean, at the end of the day, mistakes happen. So just miscommunication between me and Emeka. I thought he was going to slam it down, but he did the smart thing by taking off, and just got to be better at that. The Zero made a hell of a play. So, but with those instances, that's why I mess with Coach. That's why I love Coach Day so much, and my offense is that they always have my back no matter what. And I mean, at the end of the day, plays happen, and you just got to bounce back. It's always about the answer. It's never how you start, how you finish. So I think that maybe last year taught us that a lot, and then maybe just my life growing up, just perseverance, just working through tough times and tough plays. So that's probably why we ended up playing good after that.
Go ahead, Bill.
CJ, all the balance and efficiency that you guys have right now, it looks like it's supposed to look like the best offense in the country, but you're doing it without a full deck. You've had running backs in and out. You've obviously not had Jackson. When you think about how well you're performing now and know that those guys can get healthier, can get back into the lineup, like, where else can this offense go once that happens, you think?
I mean, I don't really think we have a limit. I'm super excited. Excuse me. I'm super excited to get Jackson back, and of course with Mayan, just to see where we're at full strength. So, but at the end of the day, I think we got to press this bye week and make sure that we continue to get better, and hopefully they come along. And of course, I know Jackson and Mayan are two veterans that we need when you add leadership into that as well. They've definitely stepped up in that area. So I definitely think that they'll come in and have an immediate impact. And I'm actually bummed for Jackson, man. All the work that he puts in and how hard of a worker he is. He's a good guy. So when your brother's not out there with you, it kind of hurts a little bit. So, and then we've also had to adjust with that just because he's such a dominant player in there in the slot position, even on the outside. So I'm super excited to get him back. Super excited to get mine back as well. I think Trey did a great job today, being one of our only backs, kind of being low on numbers, and Dallin did a great job as well, including X. Yeah, I'm super excited to get everybody back.
We'll go over here. Steven Means, and then Clay on this side, and then Tim May next over here.
CJ, Emeka was talking about when there are mistakes like that, you're very calm in games, while in practice you're maybe a little bit more edgy to get the rep back and get the rep back. Why take the more edgy approach in practice, and why are you so calm in the game?
I definitely think Mecca kind of hit it on the point. I think the reasoning for that is just practice is harder than the games, if you ask me. Sometimes that's not always the case because you do play against great teams, and Michigan State was a good team. They're not terrible. I mean, they haven't lost big except for one time. So, and then their backs were on the ropes. So, knowing that we had to come in and play a team that was really didn't have nothing to lose, I mean, it's tough. So during the week, definitely got to push greatness and just perfection, because once you get in the game, it kind of becomes just rhythm. And once you get going, you get going. So, but yeah, just staying calm, I definitely think that has to play off with just our off-season work and knowing that we didn't come in here for anything but a win. So, just working hard past that, and then it's not life or death. So, like, it's nothing to be crying about or lose my mind over. And then when you have a coach like Coach Day and Coach Wilson are going to call it just as good as before you had an interception, whatever the case may be, that just gives you all the confidence in the world. So.
Yeah, two quickies, CJ. Number one, the dime you dropped in on Marvin Harrison Jr. down the right sideline wasn't even a touchdown, but you stood in the face of that blitzer and delivered that pass. Just take us through that about playing. How cool did that feel leaving your hand? And then number two, you're the first quarterback to have 6 touchdown games, passing games in Ohio State history. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, the one was third down. I want to say it was probably like 3rd and 4 around there. They're on like a split mugs look, knowing that my linemen were in a lock squeeze, which is basically they squeeze down the linebacker and the end will come free. The first time they ran that, I think that's what they did the second time, because they did it 2 times in a row. And I told Emeka to do something if he comes, and I thought they zone dropped instead of staying in man-to-man. So I didn't want to throw it in the middle blatantly without seeing what was in there. So knowing that Marvin is a really good one-on-one matchup, I just try to give him a shot. I had somebody in my face, but, I mean, I definitely think that I try to just stay in there as strong as I could and deliver a good throw, because, I mean, those type of moments in the game are really big, because if you don't convert right there, then it's a short field for the opposing team's offense. And I definitely think those are big-time downs. What was the second question again?
I think you're the first player ever.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a blessing, man. Definitely all glory has to go to God, because, I mean, I wouldn't even be at a place like Ohio State, 2,000 miles away from home, somewhere I never thought I'd be if it wasn't for him. So I'm super blessed just to be able to go out there with my brothers. But it's not just me. It's my linemen. It's my receivers running great routes, my tight ends blocking and running great routes, and my running backs towing the ball so good. So it's a small part by me.
Over here, Clay Hall.
Yes, CJ, when you look back at the run of quarterbacks here recently, JT, Cardell, Dwayne, Justin, are you inspired or motivated by them and the success that they've had I mean, is this quarterback you? I mean, it's starting to, over time here, to make a real impression.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my reasonings for coming to Ohio State. Of course, with Coach Day's offense and the great players, and then of course practice. That was a big reason why I came here, because of practice, just going against the best every day. But yeah, I mean, I look up to those guys like JT. I look up to Joe. I know he was here. Dwayne, RP to him. I write him on my wristband every week just to give. I dedicated the season to him, so I definitely think that. And then of course Justin, who I played with. Plays a part into why I came here, and hopefully I'm holding the legacy on. I'm making them proud.
We got time for just a couple more, folks. Brendan, go ahead.
CJ, I want to ask you about leadership. You know, it feels like you are getting, over your time here at Ohio State, more and more comfortable understanding how fast things can happen around you and your ability to kind of stay calm. Where do you feel like you've taken the biggest step with your leadership and your ability to slow the game down?
Yeah, I mean, excuse me. I've always kind of, glory to God, I've always been a natural born leader. I've kind of always been the quarterback on my team. So, just early on playing with the Altaloma Warriors when I was young, playing with the Pomona Valley Steelers. Those are two youth teams, but they teach you to be like that at an early age. I mean, the stakes aren't as big, but coming to a place like Ohio State, I never really knew how big it was until I got here. But it's not the same. You can't look at the outside. You can't look at the good nor bad. And I think that has to play with my leadership as well, being here. just blocking out the outside noise, because good or bad, people are going to hate you, people are going to love you. It doesn't really matter. I play for an audience of one in my family, which is the Buckeye Brotherhood, and my mom, sister, brothers, STM, my family back home. So, I mean, I definitely think that pays into it. And it's just short-term memory. I think that definitely as a quarterback you have to have that. So I think that's how and then, Coach Mick, he's definitely been a strong part in that. It's just he used to get on my last nerves coming in, and I ain't gonna lie, like I did not like Coach Mick at all. So, but it teaches you, like, even though you're irritated or whatever the case may be, you keep going. So I appreciate Coach Mick and Coach Day for always pushing me.
Okay, we got time for just a couple more. We're going to go Joey, Dan, and Larry. Go ahead, Joey.
CJ, as far as kind of being level-headed, having the short-term memory, it sounds like maybe that was emphasized when you were a younger quarterback. But were you good at that, like at a young age, like high school, like kind of you make an interception and you flip the page and be level-headed, or is there something you feel like you've really gotten better at?
I feel like I've gradually definitely gotten better. I'm not a huge, I don't know. I wouldn't call myself a huge emotional person. So I'm not big in showing a lot of my emotions, at least, especially when your brothers are watching. And I think that has to play a part of growing up with two older brothers. They kind of were mean to me. And then, of course, my sister probably worse. They used to beat me up, do all type of stuff. But, I mean, if I cried, they would do it worse. So I definitely think there's no tactical advantage of whining or complaining about anything. So I definitely think that plays a part. But high school, I was better than I was in youth. And then growing up with my coaches were very hard on me growing up. Coach Tojo, Coach Jamie, Coach Bub. I'm not trying to miss anybody. T-Dub, Coach Fly. I mean, they yelled at me. They did a lot of crazy stuff, like a lot of hard work. So, but it grooms you at a young age just to realize, like, the role that you have and the responsibility you have as a quarterback on a football team. So without them, I would never be here. So shout out to them.
CJ, it seemed like Travion was running with an extra edge when he was out there today after not playing last week. Is that something you noticed from him today? Yeah,
I mean, I hope number one is okay. I pray for him while I was out there, but it's a crazy sport, and I definitely think Trey ran very hard. I definitely think he has something not just to prove, but prove to himself that he can still go out there and dominate. So I'm super excited, super happy for him to go out there. And it's tough being one of the only backs and having to come back. And so he was back there tired, and I definitely think that shows the work ethic he has as well, of just not being denied. And I'm super happy for him. And I definitely think that him and mine are a dynamic duo, and they'll do great things in the future. So excited to see that.
And final question, Larry Lake,
CJ, can you just share a little bit more detail about honoring Dwayne Haskins? What do you write? Is it on tape or wristband? And did you ever meet him?
Yeah, I've met him twice. One time up here, then one time as a high schooler at the Elite 11 camp. But I'll just write LLDH7, long live Dwayne Haskins 7. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't say that I haven't forgot about him. I don't know if anybody else has, but he's here. You know what I'm saying? He walks in the spirit with me, maybe not in the flesh, but I know that I was rooting him on when he was still playing, and I know that he roots me on now, even back then, last year when I played here too. So I send my condolences to his family. I know it's probably still really raw and tough time for them. So my condolences go to them. I know how it is to lose somebody close to you. And I also write long live my cousin who passed away 3 years ago last summer. So he was one person who introduced me to football as well. His name is Sam House. So long live my cousin S3. And I just try to honor people like that because I don't like forgetting people because when he was here, everybody loved him. So why not still love him? So I try to just show that message. It's just tape.
CJ, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Is there any takeaways or anything you guys think you learned from this time?
Yeah, it's definitely different playing on the road. One thing you got to be key of is the crowd and the noise and stuff like that. So in practice this week, we spent a lot of time with background noise and stuff like that, making sure we were able to communicate a lot and just stopping the run and running the ball. That's something that's big on the road, and we did that tonight. I think they had like 5 rushing yards or something.
In the facility, he had asked this week how many plays with Jackson plays, which obviously why we're asking that question. But it seemed like even even without Jackson, some of the stuff you guys are running today, he's pulling that out.
He has
anyway.
unbelievable discipline.
Now that you're in the slot with Jackson being out, how long does it take you maybe to get comfortable with some of those plays? How have you seen that kind of develop?
Yeah, the coaches have done a great job moving me around in practice and stuff like that. So I get reps kind of everywhere, so I feel comfortable on game day going anywhere. And you know, Jackson's going to be able to execute just as good as the next person on any of those plays. But you know, we don't really call him for personnel per se. Sometimes we do, but the coaches have a lot of trust in everyone they put on the field. So no matter who's in, we're going to call that play.
I know you're not going to give away any of the playbook, but I mean, with some of this stuff, when you get the playbook and you're looking at it and you're installing it, are you ever just kind of like a little geeked up about some of the plays?
For sure. There's some plays that I know might hit big. There's some plays that I have a suspicion that have a good chance of scoring that week. But you know, on game day, you never know. Sometimes it never really pans out that way. Like I'm not expecting to score on that broken coverage for 70 yards, you know. But just being able to execute whenever you don't know where the ball's going is something that's really big.
Emeka, when you guys are doing some of the more creative stuff today, whether it's getting you the ball on a handoff or some stuff next, or you know the play fakes and stuff like that, is there any give and take during the week with you guys as players and the coaches about how that stuff feels, whether or not you can execute? Like how much do they involve you?
Yeah, in the early stages of practice, we get reps taking handoffs and stuff like that from CJ just to make sure we're comfortable getting handoffs in the backfield and stuff like that. And we run those plays a lot. If we don't feel comfortable with them, they just get taken out of the game plan. If we do feel good about them, then we'll keep them.
Did it feel good for you guys offensively to last week? You guys ran the ball really well, but didn't put up all the passing yards and touchdowns you would have normally through the air. Did that feel good today?
Yeah, I mean, it always feels good, especially when, you know, your Heisman quarterback is launching the ball like he does. But at the end of the day, if we put up more points than the other team, we're happy no matter how we get those points.
He's done this a couple of times. I'm sure 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Which is surreal to say, but last year against Michigan State, Rose Bowl this year, in this game, what was special about what he did today?
It's hard to say what's special about CJ. Like every day is something special that I get to see personally firsthand. Just his maturity level with the game and just never getting frustrated. He has such a level head on the field. Even after his pick, you know, he's like, we're good. We're going to come back, even though, you know, you think it'd be the end of the world. You know, it's early in the game, stuff like that. So, but, you know, CJ is really calm and composed, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he threw for 20 touchdowns in one game.
After that pick, you said he's calm, level-headed. Like, do you guys have a long conversation? Like,
we did.
Short?
Yeah,
like,
we got together with Coach Hart, Coach Day. We're talking about what the coverage was, and we made sure we fixed it, and that mistake didn't happen again.
What did you see on that play, and what did he tell you he saw that was the miscommunication?
It was just it was supposed to be a hitch route. But the hitch converts if it's press, and he was pressed, and I did see him bail, but he bailed really slow. And if you watch the replay, I did have a step on him, but that's not something CJ's anticipating. So we just got to be on the same page and working through those kinks out in practice.
You know, after a play like that, everybody in the press box is looking through the binoculars just to make sure you guys aren't yelling at each other on the sideline. Right?
Yeah.
Like you guys are just handle your business in that situation.
Absolutely, you have to handle it professionally. You can't lose your head. You can't get mad at your teammates. Once you start getting mad at your teammates, a whole bunch of other things are going to fall apart.
That happens sometimes.
Exactly.
I mean, you've seen that before,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Where guys get hot in the moment. Why are you guys calm about it? Why are you guys business about it?
Marvin, you've been scoring.
I feel like it just goes back to CJ's maturity level. You know, I see that play happen, and I kind of look at CJ. You know what I'm saying? Because he's our quarterback, he's our leader, and stuff like that. Heisman contender, and I just look at him, and I see his cool, calm collectedness, and it kind of just passes on to me, passes on to the rest of the team. We don't lose our cool. We get to the drawing board and figure out what went wrong.
I haven't thought about that recently.
Well, for Tommy, real quick before you go,
Mike, you play, like you said, with a lot of emotion. It looks like you're having a lot of fun out there, too. Can you just explain what that is like in a moment after you have a sack, all that emotion, celebration you have?
It just feels like I'm in, like, playing the game like NCAA or something like that as a kid, so it just feels great.
Mike, you had, I think your first 3 plays, you had 2 sacks. To be that efficient when you're in there, are you kind of begging for more playing time when you're out there, when you're out there on the sideline?
Yeah, I'm definitely begging Coach Jay. You know, I'm just nagging him, but you know, he just sit me up to the side, just be like, you know, just good, just chill.
Mike, is that partly? Are you back to full strength? Yeah, I mean, is that part of it? Just trying to limit you?
Yeah, I'm just still trying to limit me right now, but I'm still all good.
How frustrating had that been for the last couple of weeks? We haven't really talked to since that happened.
Not really frustrated at all. It's just like Coach J always preaches, just next man up. So really, that's what it is.
1 tech, 3 tech, 5 tech. What's your favorite spot to rush the quarterback out of his line?
I have to say 3 tech because it just gives me a lot of leeway where I can go inside or out. It just gives me a lot of space to work.
It seems like you work really well with the linebackers. I'm not sure if that's just a you thing or if it's all the defensive tackles, but you seem to make it pretty easy on them. Do you ever remind them, like, hey, I'm freeing you guys up right here?
No. We don't never brag about that. We're team collective, so we all do. The linebackers do one thing good, and we do one thing good. So overall, just a team execution.
You always seem to have a sack celebration when you make a sack, but when those guys do it, how exciting is that for you when you see the quarterback on the ground and one of the linebackers is doing it because you freed him up?
Yeah, I just feel good overall. Whatever anybody brings to the team, it just feel great. And as long as we get to stop on defense, get the 3 and out, and get off the field, it's always a great feeling.
How is that helping the defense maybe get its feet under its rope in the first half of the season?
I would say our defense is playing great, lights out right now. So we just got to keep it going. You can't be worried about what happened last week. You just got to worry about the next.
I think your last sack, the quarterback basically ran to you. What did you see on that one?
Yeah, he wasn't even looking my way. I just seen him drifting over. I was like, I got to get him now. So
you guys were playing fast, but you also played patient. Can you just talk about how it wasn't all just you, other people were helping you get there?
Oh yeah, it was definitely without the help of my teammates, I wouldn't have been able to get any of my sacks. So I just thank them and always give them, celebrate with them.
You guys tend to flush the quarterback to another guy.
Right, yeah. It's always a great feeling to get back there and flush the quarterback and just cage the pocket real well to open up sacks, whether that's me, JT, Jack, or whoever.
Mike, do you like playing that role where you're kind of coming in on a 3rd down and you're fresh to go rush the quarterback?
For this first game, it was just like a weird adjustment, just getting ready like before the game, just like I was starting, but I just had to simmer down a little bit. But just coming in 3rd down, fresh legs, it's just no better feeling than that.
How do you keep yourself in a rhythm when you're doing that?
You really just got to make the most out of your opportunities that's presented to you.
Did you hear the offensive line say, "Here comes 51," like stuff like?
Yeah. Every time I come on the field, they just talk a little smack, but it's all good because you can't ruin anything that God has planned for you.
How does that make you feel when they're making a point like "Here comes 51"?
It's just as a D lineman, you got to respect it. Being a great player, but overall, all the guys are great players. It's just no singling out. Everybody's a great player across the board.
How many snaps you played today?
I think it was about like 10, 11. I didn't even play over 15. Yeah.
10. That's a pretty good rate.
Yeah.
Did you break a sweat? It was kind of chilly out there.
No, I don't really think I broke a sweat. Really, I was just staying chill, staying calm.
I know you guys don't talk about yourselves very much and stuff, but you feel sort of proud in the first 6 games that you've established yourself. Like you said, here comes 51 into the game. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, what have you personally, kind of gotten done in these first 6 games?
I feel like I did great in my first games, but like Coach Day always preaches, you can't worry about the last because you get too big in your head, that'll affect how you play. So.
Mike, did you?
Yeah, I definitely think you guys are getting ready to praise my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
And you
asked Coach Johnson
to go into another sack.
Yeah, I was still trying to get another sack. It's just me. It's just that dog in me, always hungry, never satisfied.
Where does that put them in practice? Summer workouts, summer rides, football game. Just give them a chance.
You want me to go get them?
Yeah, just bring it back to how I grew up. Just always never be satisfied. Just be grateful for what you have. Always trying to take the advantage and get more.
Hey, Mike, after the Notre Dame game, JT and I believe it was Zach Harrison talked about how you kind of needed to realize in your life that you had that confidence to go out and make the plays that you were making. Once you started to figure that out, is that kind of unlocked another level of play for you? Was it the confidence that you're playing with it?
It brings a confidence level, but you still, like I was saying earlier, you still can't worry about it because if you get a big head or stuff like that, go on the field thinking you're too good or somebody easily put you on your butt real quick and you just get hung.
You mentioned
last question from Michael.
You mentioned growing up, that instilling that mentality of never being satisfied. Was there a specific person or a specific event or something that kind of instilled that mindset into you?
I would say my mom really she always preached to us, just never be satisfied and just always be a man of the Lord. Yes, sir.